Hey, welcome back to Ideal Confidant. My name is Ifoma and I am your holistic registered nurse. In Ideal Confidant, we give life advice and give it with a nurse's touch. And when you're watching this, it'll be, I guess today. And today on September 23rd, Wednesday, 2020, the verdict came out for who will be charged for the Breonna Taylor tragedy. And obviously, a lot of people aren't happy. One of the officers was indicted, and it wasn't related to her. And the charges were not as aggressive as some people think. The family and the city of Louisville, in Louisville, Kentucky, I guess they settled and allegedly provided the family $12 million in the civil law case, but the criminal side of the case hasn't really, equivalent to any type of justice statewide. The FBI still has an opportunity to do their thing, but I just wanted to just holistically process what's going on as a woman, as a holistic registered nurse, as a Black woman, and someone who believes in the art of manifestation and you can consciously create your reality. I observed how a series of events were manifested as a collective. As a collective in the Black community, a lot of people were repeating this quote or this phrase that the Black woman is the least respected and protected, or blah 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 blah. And when the news rang out yesterday that the state is, or the city, deemed it emergency curfew or whatever, and they're preparing to put barricades, again, a lot of people on social media were talking about, we all know if they're doing this, that means they already came to their decision and the charges aren't going to be made. And so I was seeing as a collective a lot of people in the community that were making assumptions of a negative outcome, and the negative outcome happened. Okay, so my thing is, as a Black woman living in a post-COVID, post-Black Lives Mattered society, I have been working on finding a balance on how to holistically and mentally process things and have the mindset that I am not a hunted person. Working on how to have the tools to navigate this world, knowing that I'm not a hunted person, that I am not inferior, knowing that I'm not a victim. And the way a lot of news channels and social media pages and things like that are working, it makes it a challenge. It doesn't make it impossible, it makes it a challenge. So when I saw the whole Breonna Taylor events, I chose to process in a way where I know that I still have a chance and I'm not victimized in things. Because if you're on Instagram or any type of social media platform, there's really no way, and you're in the Black community, you follow a lot of Black popular influencers, it's really hard not to avoid the Breonna Taylor situation. And so what I realized is the family was given a settlement. I don't know how much money the family's going to be left with after the attorneys take their fees and taxes and all those things, and it being divvied up to several different people. I hope the family has enough money that they don't have to work for the rest of their lives. I hope that they have someone in their resource toolkit that can help them budget the money, so they can, at least knowing that their daughter can come back, at least they have the financial security that they don't have to worry. Because it's one thing to deal with grief and also fear of how you're going to survive. If you notice, wealthy people, they grieve differently because they don't have to worry about fear of survivalhood. They just have to worry about the grieving process. While a lot of Black people, there's common that they don't have the resources to make up for their loved one being gone, so they have to deal with grief and the fear of how they're going to make it. And that just makes the grief process more traumatic because you don't even feel safe. So that's another topic we can talk about another day. But regarding to Breonna Taylor, what I recognize the beauty of this situation is that during the process of the original tragedy, her boyfriend, her living boyfriend, elected to protect her and himself when, I don't know the exact details of the story, but I guess he heard someone break into the house. He didn't know they were a police officer, and he chose to shoot. Don't quote me on this. I'm already acknowledging that I don't have all the details together. But when I hear this and I see that a lot of people say the black woman is the most disrespected, unprotected, valued, blah, 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 I was like, finally, in this case, this man was willing to lose his life to save his living girlfriend. That is beautiful. And through this process of the whole Black Lives Matter situation, I've kind of been in this like teetering, tottering, oh, should I focus on my, love life? I can just focus on business, blah, 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 blah. And then COVID hit, and that was like, a sign of like, who do you have in your life? Because you're like restricted socially on how to interact with people. So if you really did have a significant other, you can find some loneliness and some isolation, because the way the government is running things is really preventing you from being exposed to people who are not your family. So if you don't have your own family, i.e. a husband or children, you can feel kind of lonely, because a lot of people aren't trying to be exposed to people unless they're in their immediate family. So then the Black Lives Matter movement happened, and then we've seen it mostly happen to men. And so as black women, we know racism exists, but you always say to yourself, oh, they only deal with the men. Like the men, the cops do, some injustice can happen sometimes with black men, but as a woman, you're safe, right? That's always been a subconscious thought. It's not said, but it's understood. And so when the Breonna Taylor situation happened, and we see this man who literally took a bullet for his girlfriend, even though she unfortunately succumbed to the wounds from inflicted by these officers, it confirmed the value of having a man in your life. And it confirmed the desire for me to have one, because I don't know about you, but it's very common in the black community that we give mixed messages to well-meaning black women. We tell black women to live your life so you don't, just in case, so you don't need a man. Live your life, have your own job, have your own house, have your own car, so when a man comes to you, you don't need him in your life. You can function just like yourself, so you won't attract these wish-washy, riff-raff people in your life. But what happens is we learn to not ask for help. We learn to be on our own. So then when we're in a place where we are in a situation faced that we need help, like there's certain things you cannot provide for yourself. Even no matter how smart and intelligent you are, there's certain emotional needs that it's great when you have another person. We are social human beings. We are social animals, and we do well when we're around other people. So with the whole Breonna Taylor situation, just confirmed the value of having a man in your life. And also, it proved that there are black men who are willing to risk their life, honor, and protect. So even though the outcome of the justice system did not meet the expectations of many, while everyone's focusing on that, what I'm focused on is the family received $12 million, and yes, it's not going to bring the Breonna back, but she was already gone. And I'm sure there's lots of cases that we're not aware of, and families did not even get a fraction of what Breonna Taylor's family is getting. And I really hope that they're left with majority of that settlement amount, and it's not just extracted from all these legal fees that happens when lawyers help you get help you win cases. They, they take a certain percentage and they charge their fees. They take a chance on fighting for you without asking money up front because they get the money from the settlement. So I really hope that her family is get left with a lot of money left over, so at least, even though they're not going to get their daughter back, and our sister or family member back, they can have the peace of mind that they have financial security. And the other thing that I really appreciate is that there's proof that there are Black men who understand that their purpose in life is to provide, protect, and lead. And the Black woman's life purpose is to help a man manifest his dream or his legacy into fruition. A woman is a vessel that helps a man manifest his legacy into fruition. And if you think about it, even in unromantic situations, it's common, I'm not saying all cases, it's common for women to be in supportive roles, helping men execute their decision. It's common that all these big companies that majority of society works for are led by men. I'm not saying all of them, but majority are led by men. And it's common that a lot of these women are helping men execute their legacy. So when I heard about the Breanna Taylor, everyone was focused on the tragedy, which it makes sense because that was a tragic way, and she just seemed like a good person that was a citizen doing her normal thing. And a lot of Black women, including myself, saw myself in Breanna Taylor. She just looked like a regular person. I'm a healthcare provider. She was a healthcare provider, and she was on her way to do her next career thing. She was a baby. She's 20 something years old, 26, I believe. And I remember being at that stage, and it's just like it tugs at you, because usually when these situations happen with police, is usually someone who has like a history of being in the criminal justice system. And I'm not saying that's okay just because a person has a history in a law, has a history with the law, breaking the law, that they deserve to be mistreated. But usually it's people who look a little bit wayward. And so when you have this person who's just minding their business, resting in bed, and this happens, it's kind of like alarming. And I feel it's real easy to start assuming that bad things are going to happen to all of us because of this case in Louisville, Kentucky, and this case in Atlanta, Georgia, and this case in Minnesota. So what I'm choosing to do is to focus on the positive. And in this tragic story, what I found beautiful was the love story of the boyfriend willing to risk his life, his freedom. He was arrested, and I don't, it's just very common when you just don't hear stories about Black men willing to take a bullet and to fight and protect the household, and I felt that was very attractive for that individual to do that for himself and his late girlfriend. And so it confirmed to me, I want a man like that. Not that I want to be in a situation where a man has to shoot someone to defend us, but I would like to have a situation where I have a man or a provider in my life. And that's something that I've took from this situation, and that's something I want to share with you. It's like when everyone's focusing on the injustices, which is valid, there are also some beautiful things that happen in this love story, because this is a love story as well. It's a love story, and one of the prices of love is loss. Okay, so I want you to think to yourself, if you're single, do you desire to have someone where something like that, where your safety is in danger, to have a man by your side that can have the opportunity to protect you? How would that make you feel? And if you're in a relationship or married, does your significant other of your husband, do you have that type of confidence in him that if something similar happened, he will react in a similar way? And if the answer is no, well, that's something that I really recommend that you think about, because we're in a unique time. And if the answer is yes, you are very blessed. Even if you're going through a lot of things that I'm not aware of, you are blessed, because there's lots of women, including myself, that would love to have a similar situation where they have someone that they know that has their back, that's literally willing to take bullets for them. And that is a rarest. It's sad to say, but it's something that all women, all healthy minded women should have. But it's not always the situation. But in this case for Breanna Taylor, her boyfriend was willing to risk so much to protect her. And so that's how I choose to process and close the story. And I choose to shed light a bit on my Instagram page. But I just know, if you're watching on YouTube and you're getting these stories about Breanna Taylor, I just want you to think about it in this unique way, about the beauty of knowing that there's a black man who actually wanted to protect his woman. And I would like to see more stories of that in the media, so we can change the paradigm that the black woman is the least protected, where I choose to say the black woman is protected, the black woman is loved, although the black woman is valuable, that black woman is important. I really believe in the power of the tongue, and I feel we can do better as a community as a whole to be more conscious of what we're creating by our language. And so I choose to profess what I desire. I don't want to focus on what is my current reality. I want to focus on what I want to create. And what I want to create is a society where we treat people, no matter their creed, well. We treat women, no matter their race or creed, well. So these are the words that I choose to use in my life, and that's something that I choose for you to think about when you're trying to get through these social media platforms or your social media and you feel kind of down because of all this negative news. I recommend that you try to just focus on what you want to create and do your best to ignore what you don't. So if you appreciate watching this video, I would love for you to like and subscribe. When you like this video and subscribe, it does something to this YouTube algorithm that notifies them that you're enjoying my content, and then they do something even better where they share my videos with other like-minded people. My goal is to reach 1,000 YouTube subscribers, and by you liking and subscribing to my channel, it would mean a lot to me, because you'll be spreading my message. My goal on my channel is, if you look at my videos, I'm kind of all over the place because I haven't found a topic that I just so in love with, that's all I want to talk about. I'm kind of like to talk about a lot of topics: manifestation, love, nursing, health. I just like to talk about a lot of things. So I know that there's other people like myself who just are master of many things. We have multi-dimensional people. There's a lot of people hurting in the world right now, and they're doing their best just to find free tools to help them get through a certain situation. And YouTube is a great resource, especially for people who don't have any money. You can really gain a lot of information from generous people like myself, who are creating lots of content, yet due to whatever reason, their audience isn't finding their content. So by you liking and subscribing to my channel, you help me do that. So thank you for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.